I have got some breaking news for you guys that you just cannot miss, all right? We are now being told to prepare for a national shutdown as a warning has recently been sent out for all 50 states. So the FBI and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has long been warning companies right here in the United States of America of possible attacks to our infrastructure. And just recently, it has been confirmed that the hackers have already managed to get into our systems. Now, the question now is, when will they attack? Now, before I get into the specifics of this, all I ask of you guys is to take 1 second, drop a quick like for the video. I totally appreciate that. And I want to thank you guys for always sharing the videos. Totally helps out the channel. So the United States has been working to protect and defend against the targeting of our critical infrastructure for some time now. Now, as far as we've been told, Chinese hackers have been attempting to spy on these systems for almost 5 years. Reports from the FBI shows that targets have been placed with maritime, transportation, communications, utility, and even the government sectors. So if you think about it at face value, they basically want the United States to freeze whenever they want it to, because stopping these sectors would literally create a wave of problems for everyone. And it also does not help that some of our critical infrastructure sectors, such as energy, chemical, and even communications, they're all relying on unmanned aerial systems. Now, the reasoning behind it is because they want to save on money. But were you aware that some of these systems were not made here in the United States? Well, some of them were made in China. Now, for anybody who might be familiar with programming, there's something that's called a backdoor. Basically, it's a method where authorized and unauthorized users can gain high-level access to any kind of system so long as they know where to go. Now, I'm not saying that China put in these backdoors in their systems, but many analysts say that this might actually be the case. Because as you guys might remember, the FBI director, Christopher Wray, he went on record saying that China's hackers are now positioned to wreak havoc on the United States. He also said that it will be targeted on American citizens and communities. That's absolutely terrifying for a lot of us here at home. And this is probably why it's gotten to a point where even the FBI director is admitting that these attacks are coming. They want people to prepare for the inevitable. Now, with what they've been told, China possibly has access to energy plants, ports, natural gas pipelines, and other water treatment plants. Now, the head of the CISA, Jen Easterly, admitted that the United States made it far too simple and easy for China to just gain access to our technology. Basically because our tech has basic flaws in it. There was an instance late last year where hackers got into a water utility system here at home because the password to access it, it was set to 1111. Now, I guess this is what Easterly is talking about. It's like basically sending these guys an underhanded pitch. What's up with that, right? Now, to their credit, the FBI has said that they have blocked multiple hacking attempts on our systems. The Chinese state-sponsored hacking group called Typhoon, they're being pinned as the main aggressor for these attacks. Now, it's also been reported that the same group hijacked a botnet of hundreds of US-based small office and home routers owned by private citizens and companies like me and you. Now, the problem was that the routers that were used in these places, they no longer had access to updated support and security, making them a very easy target for hackers. All right, so now comes the worst part of all of this here at home, right? Reports have now recently come out that Chinese hackers already have access to our critical infrastructure, with some saying that they've been laying the groundwork for more than 5 years, and they've been waiting. They've been waiting for the opportune time to strike. To make matters worse, they're waiting in some of the most vulnerable systems that we have right now. I mean, these include the networks of aviation, rail, mass transportation, highway, maritime, pipeline, water, and sewage organizations.
Intelligence officials issuing an urgent bulletin about Chinese hackers preparing to disrupt American life, secretly infiltrating critical U.S. infrastructure for at least the past 5 years. It comes just days after FBI Director Christopher Wray warned that China is stepping up its cyber warfare, targeting water treatment plants, our electrical grid, oil and natural gas pipelines, and transportation.
China's hackers are positioning on American infrastructure in preparation to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm to American citizens and communities if and when China decides the time has come to strike.
Intelligence agencies recently uncovered a covert hacking program, Chinese malware known as Typhoon, targeting hundreds of routers in American homes and businesses. Officials say China watched that ransomware attack on Colonial Pipeline in 2021 disrupt fuel lines, warning China could do far worse.
Telecommunications going down so people can't use their cell phone. People start getting sick from polluted water. Trains get derailed. Air traffic control system, port control systems are malfunctioning. This is truly an everything, everywhere, all at once scenario.
Now, these reports have stirred up so much interest that the White House has recently had a series of meetings with private technology companies. Now, this includes telecommunications and cloud computing companies. Now, related to that, Congress is also pressuring many companies to get rid of Chinese technology altogether. It's too much risk. But just recently, U.S. utility company Duke Energy announced its plans to decommission Chinese tech in their systems. So Duke Energy is currently using energy storage batteries produced by CATL or CATL, which is a Chinese battery maker. So the batteries are being used in one of the nation's largest maritime corps bases. The Chinese company did say that their batteries have been tested and approved by U.S. safety and security reviews. However, this hasn't lessened the fear that the system could still potentially be used against us in the future. Some analysts have asked one of the most important questions that I've heard in a long time. Why are we using Chinese technology in our maritime corps base in the first place? Because experts argue that communication systems on the batteries could be vulnerable to hacking. Now, in doing so, bad actors could theoretically trigger repeat surges and cuts in power to the electrical grid, which would in turn cause a failure. Lawmakers here at home have tried to get ahead of those attacks by moving us away from Chinese batteries. There's actually a measure in this year's annual defense spending bill that bans the Defense Department from buying batteries produced by CATL and several other Chinese manufacturers. It's not a quick fix though, as this ban will only start by 2027. Experts argue that this is way too far. However, it can't be helped as some of these systems are already reliant on these batteries, which is exactly why the alarms are ringing again, because the threat to our critical infrastructure is now fast becoming a reality. And it's also not just China that's trying to hack us. Even Russia has long been in the game trying to hack into our systems. You guys remember the 2020 presidential elections, right? Which now leads me to talk about something that hit recently in the Boston transit system. So thousands of American commuters were left stranded around Boston during the morning rush hour as power outages hit several lines of the transit service. The Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority reported at 7 a.m. that they were working to get this problem resolved. Thankfully, power was resolved. However, it took around 3 full hours to get there. A statement from the Transportation Authority said that they had a surprise outage at North Station, one of their primary power feeds. Now, because of this, they had to abide by safety precautions. This caused the protective system to open related circuit breakers, which temporarily discontinued power flow. While you would think that this is kind of a just small inconvenience, many commuters did not feel the same way. You see, this happened during rush hour, meaning that the train platforms were incredibly crowded and packed. And if you add to the element of the weather, wherein commuters were also forced into sub-freezing conditions, then you would see exactly how bad this was for them. Now again, this is just one transit system. Now imagine what would happen if multiple systems were affected. Now I'm not suggesting that this was a hack, but the results mirror what could possibly happen if Chinese hackers, or any other hackers for that matter, ever try to pull a plug on us. They're not going to do it right now. They need an incentive. Experts say that this incentive could be called Taiwan. If ever China decides to invade Taiwan for their reunification, odds are that they will try and cripple the United States through our critical infrastructure first. Do you guys feel like this is plausible? As always, I'm gonna keep you guys informed on everything to be prepared and anything that's gonna impact our lives. Now, at this point, if you made it this far in the video, definitely drop a like for the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe.